Juvenile justice has certainly dramatically changed over the last 20 years. You know, when I was a kid, yeah, I got into trouble. But I never even considered stealing somebody's car. I never even considered going around the neighborhood and trying the doors to see if I could find something inside. But unfortunately, with the juvenile justice reforms that we've had over the last 10 years or so, all you see is an increase in those instances. When we look at the statistics, from 2019 through 2021, in Connecticut, the average motor vehicle theft was 4 times the national average. The finger should be pointed at this body. Ultimately, it's things that we do in this body. It's making decisions by people that have never stepped foot in juvenile court that create those problems, that have never sat with a child and explained to them why they are facing certain criminal penalties and what the process is. Those decisions should not be made by those individuals. In Section 1, we're saying that we're going to look at having a diversionary program for a child, which is undefined in the language. So we'll just say it's somebody under the age of 18, for larceny in the 6th degree. So one must ask, well, what is larceny in the 6th degree? It's just a bunch of words in the book, right? It's stealing up to $500. If you look at what's going on in the west coast of this country with kids wearing masks, going into stores and just taking stuff off of the shelves and walking out, that's what the legislation that we have before us could potentially lead to. I'm happy that we've moved to a point that it's going to be a report and that hopefully this body will be able to debate whether or not it makes good public policy for a child for their first or second offense that they're caught. So a lot of these children are not caught. To have a diversionary program, they can't be arrested. I look forward to that debate down the road. And larceny 6, it's not just stealing something. It's not just that's what we think larceny. It's also extortion. So if a child says to their fellow child in the high school hallway, give me your sneakers or I will do something to you, that is extortion. Those are the things that we're looking at. And I'll tell you that originally the underlying bill, the original Section 1, said those children should not be arrested, will not be arrested. In fact, the committee language that we had no end to that. So we're progressively getting to something that makes some sense. You know, creating a public disturbance can be many different things. Lighting firecrackers on somebody's front stoop can be creating a public disturbance. Well, that's troubling to the senior citizen in the neighborhood who, says something to the kids making noise or something like that, and the kids in the middle of the night are gonna do something to terrorize that individual. It's creating a public disturbance. So now we're saying we're going to look at these diversionary programs. And once again, I look forward to that debate at some point. The other statutes that are in there I need not address. But, Section 2, we have this body we hear about all the time, the JJPOC, which, in my experiences, watching, being part of this group, I don't go to a lot of the meetings because I'll tell you I have PTSD from a lot of it. Individuals that are not involved with the system, that fundamentally don't think that anybody should be arrested for anything, are making policy. And I'll bring to the Speaker's attention, just yesterday in the budget, we empowered this group to circumvent us to make policy. We said that DOC, in conjunction with the subcommittee, the incarceration subcommittee, will develop a program for equitable commissary with juveniles in the prisons. Not coming back to us. It's going to be immediately imposed, started by DOC by October 1, 2023. That is not good public policy. We are the ones that make policy here, not some group comprised of individuals that have, for the most part, nothing to do with the system. In this legislation, we're adding representatives from the tribes. Ordinarily a laudable goal, but we heard, why are we doing that? Because of the feds and funding. Well, the question is, what kind of juvenile justice system do the tribes have that now we're inserting them into our process? They don't have any system like ours. They don't have a juvenile court. They don't have these diversionary programs. So now you have this group that is making policy and reporting back to us sometimes that we're adding individuals that don't have the same legal system. And we're doing it for money. Not because it's good policy, we're doing it for money. And then we wonder why kids are stealing cars.